All right, today we are going to be doing the 6-speed bagger twin cam oil pan mod. And this is not like some crazy invention that I came up with, and I'm definitely not the first guy to be doing this. But the way that we're going to be doing the oil pan mod is actually from a video that I saw from Ryan Cruzy from Cruzy Originals. And I really like the way that they set this oil pan mod up, because they actually machined the oil pan and milled back the oil pickup tube so they can get a fitting and actually have the oil pickup level and flat with the pan. So that's what we're gonna do today. Like I said, I'm not taking any credit for this oil pan mod. That's definitely Ryan Cruzy's strategy on this one we're gonna be using, but his video was just a YouTube short, or maybe even like an Instagram reel. So this one's gonna be a little bit more in depth. I'll show you exactly what you need to get this job done. And like I said, it is the advanced one. There's a lot other ways that you guys can do this. I feel best about doing it this way, and I have access to a mill. If you don't have access to a mill and you're really good with a die grinder, I bet you could probably get away with doing it by hand. But we have a Bridgeport mill. We're gonna use it. If you don't have a Bridgeport mill, you can definitely get away with something smaller. If you don't have a mill at all, this video unfortunately may not be for you, but this is the best way to do it in my mind. If you don't think so, that's perfectly fine. This is going to be a how-to on the twin cam 6-speed oil pan mod. It's for wheelies, it's for dropping back, it's for guys that are at 12 o'clock for a long time. If you're just, Uncle Dan that's riding to the bar on the weekends, this video is not for you. Don't ask me why I'm doing it. Don't tell me to order the Baker oil pan or anything like that. If I wanted to spend the Baker money, I would, but we have a mill here, and that's what I'm gonna get ready to do, so. Here's a few items we're gonna need. It's gonna be a 3/8 hose, 1/4-inch NPT tap, a ear style hose clamp, some pliers for that ear style hose clamp, and then a 1/4-inch NPT to 3/8 barbed fitting. Things that aren't shown are going to be cutting fluid for tapping the pan, and we are also going to need some thread sealant for this guy. So I'll show you guys what we're going to be using for that stuff. I just don't have it with me this second. Here's the mill we're going to be using. And we got this thing viced up. And that line's approximately to where I want to go with the end of that pickup tube. You setting that up to lower the RPM or raise it?
Change it, I guess. I'm gonna raise. You don't have to change that to raise the RPM, but if I would have just raised it by changing the gearing, then it would have been probably too fast. So now that I got that where I want, I'll change the gearing to high gear. In.
Yeah, that's gonna do it, bro. All right, so we got the pan back from being milled down. I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do next, which is tap with our 1/4 inch NPT tap into the pickup tube that we just milled. So now we have enough room to play with this, and then we will have enough room for our fitting to hang out there and still be far enough away from the step, which was initially the issue in the first place for running that tap in straight, which is why a lot of guys run it in crooked, and I just really wasn't about to do that. So now with that extra space, not only can we tap as far as we need to, but we got all that room to work with. We probably didn't even need to go this far, but it's not gonna hurt us by any means. All right, so we are gonna grab our fitting, and you're gonna wanna put some cutting fluid on that. Get her nice and lubed up, and we're just gonna work on getting this in there as straight as possible. Couple things on that oil pan mod. You don't need to go so deep here on that pickup tube or with the tap. You should have a couple threads sticking out too with how it's tapered. All right, so we just cut threads in some fresh cast aluminum. Take some brake clean, take some compressed air, get that cleaned out, spray it again, clean it out again. Whatever you don't clean out that you know was either done from the mill, done from tapping, that is gonna end up in your motor if you do not clean it out. You don't want that stuff going through your engine. I don't think if you're doing this mod, I don't have to explain myself, so clean it out. All right, so we got some really nice threads in here after I just got done cleaning them out. In all honesty, I'm gonna go run it through our hot seat for another 30 minutes. To me, it's just not worth the risk of getting some of those loose contaminants, loose metal, anything like that in the engine. I'm gonna go throw it in the hot seat cleaner for a little bit, and then I will show you guys the next steps to actually getting this set up, where we will get the fitting in the oil pan. We're using 545. Make sure you grab a thread sealant that is high pressure, high temperature, and good with oil. Don't just go grab regular thread sealant, pipe dope, stuff like that. A lot of the stuff isn't going to be as good with either high pressure, high temp, or oil at all. So a good practice is the 545 Loctite. If you do not have anything else in mind that you would like to use, you can always use this, and it's going to work out really well. The hose just needs to come from the fitting until about the tab here. So we can go ahead and cut to length right there. All right, this is how I'm gonna cheat it. I got caught up a little bit. I pushed this up above the nipple, got it on those first two barbs, and then slid it down over it. And now I'm gonna come up all together and get everything pushed on. All right, we've got that on there pretty good. This is, I would like it to be just a little bit further back, but it's flush with the hose. There we go. And now we're going to take our little crimping tools and we're going to crimp these. And that's where I'm going to stop. These ear clamps are really good for high pressure. This is going to powder coat, so when I drop her back, you guys can see a huge red oil pan. I'm not going to crimp these. This hose has already been a pain in the butt to deal with. I ended up getting it exactly where I wanted, right in the middle of that barb. And so this is pretty much it. Let that Loctite thread sealer cure for 24 hours before you put that pan back into service. If you don't, you're gonna have a bad time. And if you do wait, it's gonna work out pretty well for you. All right, so we're gonna modify this baffle, and we're gonna start with the cutout that's already there. And I'm just gonna put the hose in it and put it straight or parallel. And then I'm gonna mark the outside with a silver Sharpie. And then I think I'm gonna take a die grinder and kind of cut that ridge out of there. And then once we get that one clearanced out, we will do the same exact with that last baffle there. One way to check if your depth is good enough or not is just by grabbing a straight edge and putting up your 3/8 hose in there and putting it on the standoff right here, that's flat edge, and seeing if you have clearance under that flat edge or not. That flat edge is essentially going to be the oil pan, and if you have clearance there, it's not going to pinch the hose or reduce oil flow by any means. So I'm right about where I need to be. I'm going to take a little bit more off, and then we will move on to this last piece right here. And this last baffle piece, we're just going to line up with the other two, but we're going to avoid this little standoff piece. So just like this last one, we're going to come up right on the edge of it, right on the edge of this guy. So I'm going to start grinding with that little carbide die grinder piece. All right, so honestly, this baffle turned out really, really nice. Just another one of those things where you're gonna wanna wash off super, super well. You just grinded a whole bunch of plastic chips in there. Plastic is able to, plug oil orifices just as much as metal. So if you saw me start grinding this, I started like on top of the oil pan that I just got done cleaning. So I'm gonna throw that in the hot seat with this real quick, and I can feel a lot better about moving forward and actually finishing this job with you guys. So let's hop on over to the hot seat and get this baby cleaned up. Just so it doesn't decide to fly anywhere, I'm tossing that crescent on there since it's plastic. If you guys stuck around for the full video, thanks a ton. Once again, this is not my method by any means. It's Ryan Cruzy's. That's where I got it from. So not trying to hide anything. Obviously, I'm a big fan. I got his sweatshirt on right now. But I just wanted to give people something a little bit more in depth, maybe show a few more steps. The video he has is awesome. It's just enough information for me to do this for you guys, but it just really quick. And I just, like I said, wanted to give you something more in depth, but thank you guys for sticking around. The stump bagger is still being built and we are working on it. So follow, subscribe, hit me up, DM me on Instagram, TikTok, anything like that. If you guys need an oil pan mod done like this, I could probably get you taken care of. If you need that 07 sprocket mod done, I could probably get you taken care of as well. So thank you guys.